I want to make one thing very clear. I am not a Harvard graduate, or as they affectionately refer to it, HBS, right? So, Becky mentioned Line of Health, and I had the pleasure of serving with Becky on that board along with Chris Morrison, and she does an outstanding job, and there's nobody more meritorious of getting on board tonight, so congratulations, Becky. It's a great honor to introduce the 2012 Outstanding Director Lifetime Achievement Award winner this evening. As Dale said, this award is presented annually to the individual who has demonstrated during their career exceptional commitment and dedication to corporate governance in our business community. And the National Association of Corporate Directors and Twin Cities Business have presented only 13 of these awards. And as a past recipient, I can tell you that it is indeed an honor of a lifetime to receive it. And as Dale said, tonight's award winner is Richard Perkins Sr., or as his friends call him, Perk. Now, I've known and admired Perk for 30 years, over 30 years. As Dale mentioned, he's the founder and president of Wayzata-based Perkins Capital Management, which is an investment management firm that he started in 1984 with his son, Richard Perkins Jr. Perk began his investment career in 1957, and at the age of 81 years old, he still shows up every day at the office and puts in a full day's work. Perk is affectionately referred to as the tribal elder in the Twin Cities business community. He's well known for working tirelessly with a twinkle and a smile, and for wearing colorful ties designed by 9-year-olds. Perk says, "I don't wear stripes. I wear Save the Children ties," which is related to his directorship on the board of Children's Broadcasting Corporation. So Perk may not wear his heart on his sleeve, but he does wear his interests on his neck. I'd like to just share with you a few of the reasons that Perk was chosen for the Lifetime Achievement Award. First, while Perk has worked hard and built a highly successful investment firm, along the way he took time to give back, serving on over 20 boards during the past 3 decades, advising those companies from startup to sale. Second, his work ethic as an outside director is of pure grindstone variety. He rigorously attends board meetings and committee meetings and is fully prepared to ask tough questions and engage in robust discussions, having studied all the financials and management reports in detail. Third, he's demonstrated what too many directors are not willing to do, and that is to speak up when management is not performing and to make the necessary CEO or executive changes. Fourth, his firm has been the bedrock of investments in several dozen small and mid-sized companies that would not exist today if it wasn't for his investment of both money and advice as a director. He has contributed immeasurably to our business community over the past 30+ years. And last, on average, over 80% of all directors serve on boards for less than 10 years. Perk averages more than 20 years for each of the companies that he either serves or has served. On the 6 boards that he's currently on, the cumulative number of years is 120. In 1996, in a 1996 interview on corporate governance, Perk said, and I quote, "I think outside directors should all bring something different to the table." Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's clear that Perk definitely brings something different to the table. Please join me in honoring the 2012 Outstanding Director Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Richard Perkins.
Well, good evening. And Mark, thank you very much for that very generous introduction. I really appreciate it. And thanks, of course, to Twin Cities magazine and everyone associated with it for hosting this event. And Dale, by the way, where is the teleprompter you promised me? Now, first tonight, a little history. This is the, and I think Dale mentioned this is the 17th year of this event. And as your program shows, in 1996, I was fortunate to be nominated as an outstanding director. And then, 2 years later, I became a judge. And I was a judge of this event and the people who were given awards for 13 years. And so I sat here for all of those dinners and listened to many, many presentations. I think I tried to count them. I think there were 70. And the one thing that I can say is that they were all excellent, but I recall that the ones I liked the best were the shortest. So I'll try to stick with that tonight. I've had the privilege of serving on many, many boards. Many of them are listed in tonight's program, so I don't have to repeat those to you here. But unfortunately for me, and fortunately for the shareholders, almost all of them have been sold to larger companies, ranging all the way from Toshiba for vital images, to Synovus being sold to a Chicago healthcare company, and so on. And so I'm left today with 3 boards of directors. One, of course, is Perkins Capital Management, but the other 2, one is publicly held, Nortec Systems, and Mike Deegan is here tonight at my table. The other one is Duke Financial Group, which is private. And I'm proud to say that I've been on the Duke board for 30 years. And the other thing that I'd like to add is that for each of these companies, I was an original investor, either original investor at the very beginning, or a venture capital investor along the way. And that indeed was one of the wonderful things about these companies, being able to work on the boards, helping the company succeed and ultimately achieve its goal. Now, serving on a board is something that requires a lot of time and a lot of work. You hear people saying, "Oh, it's a great honor," and so on and so on, all of which is true. But you've got to really be devoted. You've got to really have the motivation to do your job, do it as best you can. But there's more to it than that. You know, I like to quote the famous Yogi Berra, who said, "You can observe a lot just by watching." And I like to paraphrase that into you can learn a lot just by listening. And by that I mean that other board members are usually smarter than you are, have more understanding perhaps of a lot of things, great insights that you don't have. And so really other board members, I think, helped me achieve some of the success that I've had in serving gained a great deal of knowledge from other board members, and actually a great many friendships that continue on to this day after having been gone from the board for many, many years. One more thing before I finish about board service. You know, there are a lot of important committees, a lot of important functions of a board. You know, like audit is certainly one, compensation is another. But I think the one that I've learned over the years that is really the most important is governance. And the governance committee, I think, sometimes is not thought of as being as important as others. But you know, the ultimate responsibility falls to the board of directors. And the board of directors is elected by the shareholders. And the officers of the company work at the pleasure of the board. And so it's very, very, very important that board members hear what's going on. And oftentimes, even though you have proactive meetings with other directors and proactive meetings with other members of management, officers, and so on, there are often things that go unnoticed. And I truly believe that every employee has the responsibility, the duty to report anything that seems unusual, because otherwise it may not be known about, and that should be passed on to an independent individual such as the company's legal counsel. Very important, and I think of the TSA slogan: if you see something, say something. And I just think that that's something that you've witnessed things happening here in the Twin Cities and elsewhere in the country that I think could have been avoided, that turned out to be embarrassing, but would not have had to existed if that had been upheld. And so I think that that part of what I have to say is perhaps the most important message. I think John Stout might like that word, governance. That's the important one. So with that, thank you all very much for giving me this opportunity. I appreciate it.